Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the IGN Pro League right here. We're going to bring you another set of matches. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to bring you a set of matches, a best of 3, between ViBE of Sixjax Gaming and Root's very own Minigun. This is going to be an interesting set, no doubt. It is a Zerg versus Protoss. Always entertaining, and of course we'll kick off on the Zelnaga Caverns as before. Minigun's been doing extremely well in recent tournament performances, having brought down the mighty Idra, who you may have seen earlier in this tournament, and he was able to do that quite convincingly in a best of 3 in the Justin TV Invitational a few weeks back. He has been on fire, he's been beating a lot of players, he's extremely solid. ViBE, not so experienced, but still an awful lot of recent tournament wins and high placements, so don't count him out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, hopefully you guys are ready for some action and some violence. I certainly am. My name is Total Biscuit. I shall be your master of ceremonies for today. So let's kick it off right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the IGN Pro League right here. I bring you ViBE of Sixjax Gaming. He's in the green trunks and he will be playing Zerg versus his opponent, the mighty Minigun. In the light blue trunks, he is playing Protoss and he is of Team Root. This should be an interesting matchup. I haven't seen much of ViBE playing. I'm looking forward to seeing what his style is. I know he's been placing highly and indeed winning various online tournaments lately. Bear in mind that Minigun has a very strong versus Zerg style, and he's pretty heavy on the force field. He can shut down almost any Zerg opponent in the early game, as was proven when he took out the mighty Idra in the recent Justin TV Invitational. That was the winner's bracket, and he convincingly beat him. Particularly in the third match, he locked down a force of Zerglings and Banelings with absolutely perfect force field placement. So ViBE needs to bear that one in mind and keep an eye on it. The question is, what will ViBE do to counteract that? What you'll often find is that Zerg players will look into some more ranged combinations to beat a particularly sentry-heavy player, and Minigun likes to go for the early expansions, which usually means he'll also get the sentries out. We'll keep an eye on him, see what he likes to do here. You never know, he can vary things up just a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised to see ViBE either combining some Roaches and Hydralisks or getting some heavy Mutalisk play fairly early on in the game. Now, ViBE will not be able to expand. Absolutely not. Not on Zelnaga Caverns. That's just not going to happen. The Protoss player can very easily deny it, place a pylon right here where you see my cursor, and that means that no expansion for you, I'm afraid. So we're going to have to see whether or not ViBE decides to open up with an Extractor or with a Spawning Pool. And there you go, Spawning Pool is on its way down for him, and that means earlier Zerglings. Usually you get an Extractor if you're looking to get either earlier Roaches, or of course if you are looking to get Zergling speed, which is usually the biggest reason to go for that one first. I'm going to try and get that out earlier. If you've got a Spawning Pool out earlier, that means you get earlier Zerglings, which is very nice, and it looks like that ViBE really wants to expand very early on, so he's going to get the Zerglings out and try to deal with whatever this pro plays as quickly as possible. There we go, ViBE goes for it right there. He actually does have the resources for it, and Minigun is not going to let that happen. There you go, a little bit of a patrol path blocking it off, and no doubt he'll drop a pylon when he feels the need and not before. The Zerglings are on the way, however, so ViBE needs to try and push that probe away as quickly as possible. Will we be able to stop a pylon placement? It seems very unlikely. Oh, tries the placement, blocked there by Minigun, and it looks like, there you go, there's a pylon going down for him, and we won't have an expansion for a little while at any rate. However, those Zerglings are on the way, and that's one dead probe for him, so first blood of the matchup goes to ViBE. Now, the question is, what's Minigun going to do? Opening up very standard right here. Cybernetics core coming down, and his cash reserves not looking especially high. Going for the second assimilator almost immediately, so I can only assume he's looking to try and get plenty of sentries out and then expand pretty early on. Having seen exactly what his opponent is going to do, that would make perfect sense. Now, usually, perhaps if you're not familiar with this game, or you're very low level, or maybe you've just never played before, there are things you should have a look at to try and predict what exactly is going on. For instance, the reason that a Protoss will get double gas nice and early on there, if he's looking to get a lot of sentries, it's usually because he's going to expand. Now, why would he do that? Because, well, expansions cost a lot of money. It costs 400 minerals. 400 minerals to build the Nexus. However, sentries only cost 50 minerals to place and a lot of gas, which means that a Protoss can build a lot of units and yet still be able to save the money for an expansion. However, Minigun actually going with the 2 and 3 gateways already. So all sorts of possibilities coming on for him. And sixjax just keeping an eye on things. Just call him Vibe, really. That's his team. But there you go. A lot of Zerglings coming out on the field. That Stalker is going to get surrounded if he's not careful. He looks for it. Unfortunately, not able to catch it right now. And nice micromanagement there by Minigun. And the Zealot's going to carve through those as well. A lot of damage being done to lose the Zealot. But should be able to take all of those Zerglings out without too much of a problem at all. Now, Roaches coming onto the field for Vibe. That makes perfect sense considering the usually anyway, the sentry-heavy playstyle of Minigun. And right now, not an awful lot of anything coming out. He's looking to expand pretty quickly. You can see right there his mineral count very high. He's also got a very high Vespene gas count, so I'd imagine he's going to warp in 3 sentries to follow that up, just to make sure that he has the unit count that he wants at this stage of the game, and that means he's got plenty of defense as well. In come the Zerglings, not a huge number of them, however. Looks like that probe might get munched, but that's really about it. Nexus coming down is really not under a huge amount of risk right now. 2 more sentries warp in, and there you go. Additional Zerglings coming in, but there's no real way they'll be able to do too much damage. However, they will continue to try and harass that Nexus, bring the shields down if they can. It's not going to happen. Too much ranged firepower there from Minigun. Now, Lair Tech on its way up for Vibe. That's nice and quick. Roach Tech is on the field. He can build roaches if he wants, but he's not going to do that. He's going straight into Lair. There's all sorts of possibilities. Could be going for that roach speed, the tunneling claws. Very good idea against somebody like Minigun. Tunneling claws and burrow is excellent. If you get trapped in force fields, you can burrow into the ground and prevent damage, and you can even tunnel underneath the force fields. That's a very smart thing to do, and it wouldn't surprise me if Vibe is looking to grab that in the not-too-distant future. You do need Lair Tech in order to get those 2 upgrades, as you will see, and we'll see what he decides to do once this Lair comes up. All sorts of different possibilities available. Hallucination on the way right here. No robotics right now for Minigun, and those tunneling claws and the burrow could be very useful if Vibe decides to go down that route as a result of not having that. Building a hallucination upgrade instead, and there you go. There's the burrow coming in. He cancels out of that, and there you go. Burrow and tunneling claws. Very smart move against Minigun. Vibe already knows about the number of sentries that Minigun actually has, so it's not a bad idea at all. And Minigun lacking an observer right now, so he's not going to be able to detect them, but that's an easy fix. Bear that in mind. +1 weapon upgrade on the way up for Minigun, and in terms of the economy right now, looking in Vibe's favor, as you would expect. That hatchery pretty much fully operational, 4 gas available, lots of upgrades will no doubt come his way. Missile attacks coming in, so we're looking for pretty much a pure roach force for the time being. No sign of hydralisks or anything like that right now. Now, the roach approach can work, especially when you've got what you need in terms of upgrades. Burrow, tunneling claws, and usually the speed upgrade as well, particularly once a Protoss player doesn't actually have a observer, so he can easily tunnel under there. That's going to give him a good advantage. Bear in mind, though, Minigun just spotted that, and there you go, instantly into robotics facility. So he's seen Roach Warren, and he's seen that it's moving. You see right there? It's upgrading right there. He spotted it with that hallucinated Phoenix, which means he's immediately going into robotics facility. He'll probably get an observer out pretty damn fast. Why would he do that? To spot the burrowed roaches. It's as simple as that. Minigun holding back right now, doesn't want to go anywhere. Vibe with the expansion, however, Minigun with a push out, and it's going to look quite dangerous. However, those 12 roaches will be able to combat that force, I would think, or at least delay it. But there's an additional warp in, so things might get a little bit hairy for our Zergy friend over there. 7 more roaches on the way. Upgrades, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Yes, already 2 upgrades for the roaches, looking for a 3rd, and also missile attack upgrade. That could be quite messy. There we go. There's the completion of the robotics facility. I expect to see an observer, and there it comes. The question is, will it put it out there? Ooh, roaches doing a little bit of sneaky up into the middle of that sentry line, doing an awful lot of damage, raining it down right here. Brings down Warlocks for the second. It's good. It's very, very good right here for Vibe. However, he's been sandwiched between the force fields. Immediately burrows. Nice play by him. Can snipe off that sentry very easily. Obviously, those sentries are quite costly in terms of the gas count. He wants to bring down as many as possible. Roaches, not all that expensive. Drive them away. However, there's the up and down, in comes the observer. That burrow is not going to work anymore. Vibe needs to get the hell out of there immediately. He does not have the speed upgrade. That's not going to help him at all. Taking a lot of firepower from the Stalkers as they rain it down. 10 Stalkers versus that many roaches. That ain't going to help. Another roach taken out very easily, and Vibe driven all the way back to that expansion. And that expansion now under a great deal of threat. Needs to watch out. It's going to take a lot of damage coming in right here. Will he be able to defend it? It's a good question. Here he goes once again. That hatchery is going to go down. It's in the red already. Minigun not focusing fire on that one, bringing it on the roaches. And here we go once again. There's the speed upgrade. That's complete now for the roaches, but it's not going to be enough. Minigun has the numbers advantage very easily right now. There's the split once again. Roaches have very limited range. Extremely hard to bring that kind of firepower to bear on the stalkers. Minigun with a tactical retreat right now. There's more roaches stream in. A lot of damage being inflicted to ViBE right now. Almost lost that expansion. Didn't quite. I think that Minigun could have taken it out, if I'm totally honest with you. There we go. Another advancement. Zergling's trying to back it up right here. Firepower. Oh, here we go. The Immortal on the field right now. I'm going to chew through those roaches. However, only one. Not a huge number. And ViBE needs to back off immediately once again. Minigun still in the commanding position right now. And he's taken slightly more resources from ViBE. Bear in mind, that hatchery needs to stay alive. ViBE needs to saturate that. He needs to start getting his economy really rolling if he wants to take advantage of the small number of units that Minigun actually has right now. A lot of money in the bank for ViBE right now. A lot of things he could do. He has finished a Spire. He could build Mutalisks. He's not doing anything of the sort right now. However, there you go. Just as I say it, in come the Mutalisks. And some harassment could certainly come in there. Needs to get this hatchery transfused as well if he's not careful. That could get sniped off quite easily by a force of Stalkers and another expansion at the back. Makes sense. He knows that his opponent's expanded to the gold minerals right there. Minigun's still looking pretty good right now, and here we go. They could lose the hatchery. Down it goes. As I said, he didn't heal it, and it was too badly damaged. He came back for it later. Very patient maneuver there by Minigun. Two Immortals in the mix right now. That could prove to be messy. ViBE getting sliced apart right here. Will the Immortals be able to hold the line? Yes, they can. Look at that, chewing through them. 5 kills already. Shield still holding on the Immortal, finally broken down. And those Mutalisks are proving problematic, however. Minigun now does not have anti-air firepower, and those Immortals are going to go down. Nice play there by ViBE. Excellent play, able to drive them away. Those Immortals will go down. Tries to take the Queen. He can't do it. Nicely played, and ViBE must be pretty happy about that. He did lose his hatchery, though. It's not ideal. In the meantime, a counterattack coming in right here. Photon cannons going down, and ViBE doesn't really have the firepower he needs to bring them down. Although Photon cannon cancelled, the second one finished right there. That mineral line, not all that vulnerable. There's actually nothing on it right now. However, there are more Mutalisks on the way, rolling out, and upgrades for that as well. Try to snipe off the cannon, doesn't get it. Minigun pushes him away once again. Good defense there by him. In terms of the economy now, Minigun is streaming ahead as a result of the loss of this base right here. He's going to start mining here. It's going to get even worse for him. Another Immortal torn apart by ViBE right now. That Mutalisk force proving to be a menace to be reckoned with. And a little bit of harassment on that mineral line by the looks of it. Nothing to defend it. Minigun needs to fall back almost immediately. Needs to try and warp in something. But that's pulled him off the mineral line. That's going to do a bit of economic damage. That's not what Minigun wants at all. Losing a ton of probes right here. Minigun finally able to hold the line with a few Stalkers. Driving him away. Zergling's looking for an opportunity, but not finding one right now. Well, ViBE is taking the momentum back, and that's very good. A lot of losses right now for Minigun. Got another hatchery almost complete here. This one is not really saturated, but it's getting to that point. A lot of units coming in. Supply count now in favor of ViBE as well, which is an ideal position. And Mutalisk going for it once again. How much more harassment can they do? They can tear a few pylons from under Minigun. Might as well take them for free. They are not being molested right now at all. The Mutalisk can just do it. No problem at all. Additional probes. Hey, free lunch right here for sixjaxViBE. And Minigun just playing on the defensive right now. Not really attacking anywhere. All of these bases pretty safe right now. Clearly see that, and the Mutalisk not taking a huge amount of damage. The question is, what is Minigun gonna do? He's got more upgrades on the way. Oh wow, 30 Zerglings on the way for ViBE. That's dangerous, and the melee attack upgrade coming in as well. But bear in mind that Minigun already has the +1 armor upgrade. In the meantime, will ViBE be able to get in there and do damage? Well, Minigun is just holding back. He's very patient. A lot of cannons there. Won't want to go anywhere near those with the Mutalisk, but here we go. The Roaches should be able to do it. Takes one, looks for the second. Here's the Swarm coming in, but there's the Blink Stalkers right into the mess of them. The question is, will they be able to bring it down? They're raining it down right now on those Roaches. Here's the quick warp in. The Zealots trying to hold the line. It'll do the job. However, those Mutalisks are tearing through the forces of Minigun. The Roaches should be able to keep pushing. It's good damage coming in right here. However, Minigun pulls all the probes off the line. Suddenly, ViBE is said packing, tail between his legs right there. And it was a good engagement for both, honestly. However, Minigun is lagging behind in a very real way right now. And ViBE should be able to keep this pressure on. If he's able to harass this mineral line, that could be very critical. I'm not looking to do that right now. Looking to swarm around, try and take out this particular assimilator. That's not going to happen. Minigun with a good force of stalkers on the field. And bear in mind, they got blink as well. That's a lot of mobility. Looking for the charge across the map once again. ViBE is just continuing to apply this pressure. One down. There we go. Cannon taken out, and there's a mass jump out of the way. However, those stalkers are going to get ripped apart if ViBE is able to focus fire. Brings down the Immortal, looking pretty good right now. Mutalists continue with the harassment. This is looking very good for ViBE right now. Pushing him all the way back into the corner. Immortal coming in to try and reinforce. He has to pull off the line. The thing is that Minigun doesn't have the forces right now. ViBE should be able to rip through him. That's exactly what's happening. Immortal going down as well, and that looks like it's going to be a free Nexus for him. Units lost. It's not looking good. GG! Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. And ViBE takes out the mighty Minigun. Excellent play there by ViBE. Absolutely fantastic. Very, very aggressive. A good mix of Mutalisks, Zerglings, and Roaches. Really proved to be the better of Minigun. Minigun's sentry play just didn't happen. It's as simple as that. He went for a more stalker-heavy build. He wasn't able to deal with it. A great mix, and those Mutalists did so much damage, both in terms of harassment, that economic harassment earlier, right into the middle line. Tons of probes ripped apart, and indeed, as a main frontline unit with those Roaches on the ground, the Stalkers just didn't know what to target. It was damned if they do and damned if they don't. Nice play by him. And he takes the first in this best-of-3 series. I'll be right back in just a few short moments, folks. Please do not go anywhere. This IGN Pro League series is just getting warmed up.